Hello everyone. I'm glad that we're back again today. In the last video, I have told you the 5 different ways in which Jesus is present during the holy sacrifice of the Mass. Okay, let's go through all of them again. The first one is the altar. Jesus is present at the altar. Jesus is present in the person of the priest. Jesus is present in His Word that we read. And then Jesus is present in the congregation, the people who attends Mass. And the last time I didn't spend a lot of time explaining it because I want a whole video just for it. And that's Jesus is present in His body and His blood, so in divinity, in the most holy Eucharist. The word Eucharist means thanksgiving, right? Because Jesus is our thanksgiving before the Father in heaven, our God the Father. Whenever you receive the Holy Eucharist, especially on your first communion, right? So it's the most special day in your life. We receive the body and blood, soul, and divinity of Jesus. How does that happen? Well, Jesus have told us that whoever receives the bread receives His body, and whoever receives the wine receives His blood. Whenever you enter the church and the holy sacrifice of the Mass, remember you see the priest raising the bread and then raising the wine, right? What do we have in here? We have the host, right? This is the little white bread made out of just flour and water. And this little white bread, this particular one is decorated. It's got Jesus on the cross and 2 angels getting the blood that's flowing from His crucified hands. Now we'll talk about the precious blood of Jesus. So for the precious blood, before it becomes precious blood, of course, we use 2 things. We use wine and we use a little bit of water. Father, why do you use wine and water? Well, here's the prayer that we say when we mix the wine and water. By the mystery of this water and wine, may we come to share in the divinity of Christ, who humbled Himself to share in our humanity. Actually, when the priests say, okay, so I'll be holding this, and I'll say, may we come to share in the divinity of Christ. The divinity is symbolized by the wine. Now put a lot of wine. And I'll say, who humbled Himself to share in our humanity. The water symbolizes our humanity. And because of that, the priest drops just 1 drop of water, because compared to the divinity of Jesus, our humanity is really, really just a tiny portion of everything that He is. The wine symbolizes the divinity of Jesus. The water symbolizes our humanity. And then, of course, the priest raises it and does the prayers. And then, during the consecration, the bread becomes the body of Jesus. The wine becomes the blood of Jesus. And then, as I said before, the word that is read in the Bible during the reading becomes flesh here, the flesh of Jesus, the body and blood of Jesus, and then He will dwell among us. You and I receives Holy Communion. That's why it's called Holy Communion, because Jesus and us are united in the most intimate way when we receive the Holy Eucharist. So, whenever Mass happens, is celebrated, the body and blood, soul and divinity of Jesus becomes present here at the altar and becomes the very object of our worship. That's why the Holy Eucharist is so very important in our faith, because in the Holy Eucharist is the very body of Jesus. May, as you prepare for your first Holy Communion, may you have that holy longing, that desire, that one day when you receive Holy Communion, you'll truly be united with Jesus as he enters into your body. May God bless you.